Think we are live. We're, we are live. All right, cool. All right, here we go.
You've arrived at the Texas to Tennessee Podcast, your home for your favorite independent artists and a couple of guys you've never heard of.
Who?
It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what I had coming to me. You were unlike anything.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Texas Tennessee Podcast. That intro still does not get old. Thank you to Evan Boyer and Adam Hood for being good sports and helping us out with that. I wonder how long I'm going to keep saying that, but every time I see it, I smile, so I have to shout them out every time. But tonight we are Steveless. As we say, there's no telling, the may get a little wild in here without Steve around to keep us under control. But tonight our guest is Brandon McDermott of the Brandon McDermott Band. Welcome in, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here, and I couldn't agree with you more on that intro. I loved it. Almost gave me goosebumps.
Um, I'm a big fan of both of those guys, and they've been really cool it's nice to know that folks have a sense of humor and
Yeah, for sure.
can play along,
Absolutely.
Um, just take a minute and if somebody were to ask, who the hell is Brandon McDermott? Who are you?
Well, lots of people ask that because we're not famous, but I'm Brandon from the Brandon McDermott Band. We are a four-piece Texas country band out of Galveston, Texas, right here on the coast. We play all over Texas, and we've got 3 albums out right now. Our latest, called Dreams or Something Else, was just released in September, so it's kind of fresh, brand new baby. And our album before that, Across the Causeway, which actually did some pretty cool stuff for us, has been out for just about 2 years now. And we write music and play songs for people that want to hear them, and it's not a bad time at all.
Um, like the song. What did you say? The Across the Causeway. I was listening
Yeah.
to that today in my headphones at work, and dig that one too. I know we're gonna play a different one, but I like that one as well. That's a
Yeah, that one's called Hear Your Name, and that one got picked up by Spotify for one of their editorial playlists called Texas Music Now, and got just like over 100,000 streams off of that and stuff, which was, we put that album out and we were hoping,
hmm.
1,000 people might listen to it, and now more people than fit in Kyle Field at Texas A&M have heard that song, which is pretty awesome.
As the I don't know if you're extremely familiar with Chris Knight, but the Little Victories is a song that, like, I reference that all the time. Even life or podcast goals or whatever the case would be. Um, Little Victories is all you need, right?
Oh yeah, I have Chris Knight days where I just listen to nothing but Chris Knight. We've opened up for him once, and it was super awesome because I love that guy. He is a songwriter. It was so cool to play a show with him and get to hang out with him. He was a very cool guy.
Honestly, Turnpike and Chris Knight. I know they're a little bit different, but those are my like that's the playlist that I combine the two artists of everything that they have together. That's
Yeah,
usually in my ears when I'm busy at work or whatever.
I can do a
Um,
Chris Knight. I can smoke a brisket and listen to Chris Knight for the whole time.
um, that was I've smoked one brisket, but then when we made the trip down to Texas, that was the first thing that we had to try out. Actually, is
Oh yeah.
we had to make sure we get some brisket and make sure we got some tacos because that's what I was told to try.
Yeah,
So
what else is there, you know? You
I
can
mean,
get brisket
I think
taco and blow them all out in one meal.
that's what I was gonna say. I think I actually got some brisket tacos, so that was 2 for 1. Um, So you're out of the Galveston area. I want to say I've heard stories and maybe podcasts over the years of folks like folks go into Galveston to play music from
Yeah.
other places, like Hayes Carl, I believe.
Oh
I could
yeah.
be wrong.
Oh yeah.
We
No,
are
Hayes is
recording
big
this.
down here. There's
Okay.
a little bar in town called the Old Quarter Acoustic Cafe. And it's pretty famous around here. Hayes got his start there. Uh, Everybody plays there, even big guys, you know. Huge huge songwriters that you would never get to see outside of a theater. You get to see in a little room that's got about 100 chairs. It's kind of our home venue as well. So it's just I saw Guy Clark there. Uh, I'm I was friends with the owner who actually just passed away last week, but a new guy owns it who's just as cool. And but when Rex Bell, who was the bass player for Towns Van Zant, he and I were pretty close, and he knew I loved Guy Clark, but at the time it was $50 to come see Guy Clark, and he kept telling me, he's like, Brandon, you got to get in here, Guy's coming. And I said, Rex, I don't have $50. And there was a little speaker that on the sidewalk, you could sit out on the sidewalk and drink your beer that you bought at the grocery store and listen to the bands. I was like, Rex, I'm just gonna sit on the sidewalk. He's like, you can't sit on the sidewalk for this one. And so he told me that if I came in there and I worked behind the bar, he'd let me watch the show for free. And so I did that, but like whenever I'm supposed to be doing something, I do it. So I was actually trying to bartend and work, but I don't know how to do that. So he's like, you're messing it up. Stay on the cash register. Quit making drinks. And he's like, just clean the bar when it's over. So I just sat there and watched Guy Clark in total amazement and awe. And then after the show was over, I cleaned the bar as spotless as I could make it. So it was a pretty cool experience.
What time, about what time period was that?
That was probably about 8 or 9 years ago, maybe something
Okay.
along those lines. And then, we used to have the Balinese room here was real famous back in the day. ZZ Top sings about it. They played there. A lot of the Rat Pack used to come to Galveston and play at that place. But Hurricane, I blew that whole thing away, so it's not
Mm.
even there anymore.
So what are, I mean, not that those things aren't pretty badass, but what are some of the cool things as far as that, or maybe unique things about the Galveston music scene in general?
It's a pretty small scene, so a lot of musicians here are pretty close. I know a lot of us have played either, when one of us gets a show, we usually invite another one to open up for us. We've had band members swapping in and out of bands on any given night and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. One of the challenges of being a Galveston based is, we had a radio promoter one time, Debbie Green, who's awesome, and she told us when you're starting out, you want to have where you are and then do a 60-mile radius around that and then a 100-mile radius. And that's how you start building your following and you go out. But, half of our radius is the Gulf
It's
of
the ocean.
America. So, you get out there, there's nothing to hear you but some Trent boats and some oil rigs. So you got to actually project farther out. And, that can be challenges because, 100-mile radius is big. But if you've got to do 200 to make capture the same amount of land, that gets
Hmm.
tougher too. So it's a little bit of a different animal, but it's still cool. It's a good scene. I love living on the coast. I think there's something uh, peaceful and refreshing about every day I get to see the horizon. I don't feel trapped or over overbeared by big tall buildings or anything. So I don't know. I think there's trade-offs for sure.
When just listen to your music. I could hear something different as far as, it's not it's in that Texas red dirt thing, but it's definitely leans more um towards the red dirt side than more of the, Texas, like the cowboy
Yeah.
country.
Right.
It, but I didn't know where you were from until I started digging, and then it kind of made sense to why it has a little bit of a different vibe to it, considering
Yeah.
where you are from.
Yeah, I've got, a lot of my influences, the people that got me playing guitar were, I was at Texas A&M when Pat Green and Roger Krieger and obviously Robert Earl Keen and, some of those guys, Kevin Fowler, were coming on the scene. And it wasn't until I really heard that like early, I mean, I guess it's the early modern Texas country. It's not like obviously there was older Texas musicians playing
Hmm.
stuff too, but it was kind of that, singing about Texas stuff that really got me picking up a guitar and playing and feeling it out and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, so I had that I really loved. And then I grew up on the island, obviously listening to the Beach Boys and Sublime and, you know, various surf punk bands and stuff. So I think it all kind of just fuses together whenever I write a song. And I don't really try to make it sound like anything. It just kind of pops out.
Whatever the song
Yeah.
play, you just kind of go off of whatever vibe the song
Right.
has from the roots of it.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the questions that Steve would ask if he was here is called the pie question, right? This is it's a musical pie divided up in the four sections, right? We
Right.
got songwriting, performance, the studio, and then the business, and socials, and everything else that most people don't care for.
Right.
Which one of those is home for you?
I would say performing and songwriting for sure. I don't like being in the studio at all.
Okay.
I find it almost maddening to just play the song over and over and over. And then once you get some tracks, you go home and listen to it over and over and over and over. And you pick out any little thing that you don't like about it. And eventually, before you even release the song, you're sick of it. So at least that's how recording's been for us. You know, we're not pros at it, but so I don't love that. And you know, the social media stuff, I don't really care for. It's something you got to do. I'm not real good at it. You know, if I have time, I'd rather play guitar or go surfing or something. I don't want to be playing on my phone that much. But I love writing songs, and I love performing. That's probably my favorite thing. You know, writing songs is like therapy, and it gets it out. And you got to keep writing to keep performing. So that's it. But I think one of my favorite things ever is when you get on stage and you sling that guitar over your shoulder. That's my favorite feeling in the world.
I keep on looking at the surfboards. All right. So is there some correlation between you know, playing the guitar, writing songs, or doing a show? Because in my mind, even if it's on playing music on TikTok or anything, if it's a good time, it's an escape. So
Sure.
you know, from the 40 hour from the work day before,
Right.
getting to play music for a while, especially when it's with my buddies. That's a escape. Now imagine so is being out on the ocean as well. I can imagine there's some similarities there for you.
Oh yeah, I grew up on the water, and you know, I'd love to say something like, you know, surfing a wave is creative and all that stuff, but it, you know, it may be for guys that are real good at surfing. But for me, I love surfing. You kind of don't think about anything else when you're out there.
Right.
You know, it's just you and the water, and you can have your buddies out there, and that's fun too. And I go on lots of surf trips and stuff, and I guess it's kind of like playing a show, just in that, like, you're in that moment, you're having a good time. You're not thinking about a bunch of other stuff. It's just something you really enjoy doing, and you're doing it. And that's how being on stage is as well. You know, you're doing your favorite thing, and you get to do it. And for some reason, people pay you to do it. I still don't understand why, but it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you feel better afterwards, especially
Absolutely.
like I said, if it's a good gig. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
I imagine it's the same thing if you get taken out pretty hard by a wave that would suck, and so does a bad gig. So
Yeah, you can have some days out there where you wish you hadn't gone out, for sure.
yeah, no. As far as studios, you mentioned all the studio stuff. I would be the same way as far as that part goes. I've never been in that situation, but also I can't listen to the same. I can't hardly listen to regular radio because
Oh yeah.
even if I like what they play, I get burnt out on hearing the same songs every day.
For sure.
So it's like I couldn't imagine it being my song.
Yeah. I even feel like Spotify's getting that way now. I like, it's making mixes for me, and it's all songs I love, but it's just its algorithm is keeping me drilled under the same like 20 bands, and I'm like, I want to hear more stuff. It used to be like it'd pull in all kinds of stuff, but I feel like it's really honed in on something, and so I have to go looking for stuff now.
It's ran out of some Chris Knight songs about
Exactly.
something about somebody getting taken out.
Right. Exactly.
They ran out of getting
Yeah.
killing songs.
Or the bank taking your farm.
Right. Um, as far as your music is concerned, I'm sure when you play gigs or whatever, you after your set, you probably get some comparisons. Some of these are absolutely ridiculous, and some of them are spot on. So I'm curious what some of your who have who have you heard?
That we're similar
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to.
yeah.
So I've heard that we're similar to like early Pat Green or and stuff like that occasionally. More recently, I've heard that we're similar to Turnpike, which is kind of a newer thing. I know when we were promoting our last album, uh, not this most recent one, but Across the Causeway, Turnpike was on hiatus, and the radio stations that I were going to were like, "Man, you guys kind of have a Turnpike sound. Y'all can fill that hole." And that was the biggest compliment I'd ever heard. Obviously, I didn't think that was true, but
The
it
43
was.
and R has a little bit of a turnpike sound to it for
Yeah,
sure.
I've heard that before, and I actually some people have told me that it sounds like a Turnpike song, and the one they tell me that it sounds like, I actually wrote that song 3 years before that song came out because I that song was written. My wife and I got married in Lukenbach, Texas, and I didn't know what to get her for a wedding gift, so I wrote that song as a wedding present because we met on the corner of 43rd and R in Galveston. Uh,
Okay.
I have to tell everyone that she lived there. It wasn't like she was standing out on the corner working, you know what I mean? But so that song's kind of about meeting her and stuff, and it got a cool turnpike vibe after we got it out of the studio, and I loved it. But that's kind of, I think, got maybe started on how we sound a little like Turnpike. But hey, there's worse compliments to get than that. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's that song more than everything on your
Yeah.
catalog. Some of the stuff I was hearing like a James McMurtry with vibe on some
I
of the
like James
things. Where,
McMurtry a lot too, so it's possible he's getting in there as well. I think there's some of that. I'm a big fan of Blink 182, so I think some of the way my songs start out are kind of like downstroking and just trying to make it a more rock and feel. So I think some of that comes in there as well.
um, have you? I'm sure you've been in opening spots. So who's some of the folks that you've had the opportunity? You mentioned Chris Knight earlier. Who's some other folks you've had the opportunity to open for?
We've been very fortunate. I tell you, it's like one of my favorite things is getting to be in this band aside from playing music. But we've gotten to open up for a lot of my heroes, and it's
Hmm.
just I don't get starstruck by actors or any of that stuff. I could care less. But when you're watching a band
Same.
that you love after you just got off stage and from, it's like it's amazing. And we've opened up for Kevin Fowler a couple times. In fact, we're opening up for him in January and April again. We've opened up for William Clark Green and Corey Morrow and Mickey and the Motor Cars. We've opened up for Josh Abbott, um, uh, Bree Bagwell, Sundance Head. We even accidentally opened up for Bret Michaels and Poison one time.
Hmm.
That was a pretty funny show. We were supposed to go on. We were one of the early bands, and it was in Galveston at the motorcycle Lone Star Motorcycle Rally, and they kept pushing. Bret Michaels was being real particular about his stage. He wouldn't. They had this catwalk, and the light wasn't following him exactly how he wanted, so he wouldn't get off the stage for his sound check until it was right, and so no one else could set up, and so bands just kept getting pushed off the bill, and I guess the promoter left us on because we were local because he was pushing bands that were supposed to be playing after us, and we just kept sliding back, and we ended up playing like one or two shows right before him. So like I was playing and his little cowboy hat's right on there, and we had this huge walkway and all kinds of stuff. So that was pretty fun. And it's just awesome. We're opening for Roger Krieger in January, and that'll be the first time I've ever played with him, which is cool because we're both Aggies, and we weren't at A&M at the exact same time, but pretty close. So it's pretty cool that we're gonna get to play with him.
I usually would wait until the rapid fire portion of the show for that. But who's some let's talk some things into existence.
Okay.
Who's a few people that you haven't had the opportunity to open for that you would like to?
Oh man, there's
Turnpike.
so many. Obviously Turnpike, and
Right.
and not just because we'd be playing in front of 40,000 people, but because it would just be cool to, I've seen them live. I saw them live. I think we both played at a pizza place in Pasadena one weekend after the other before they made it big. They clearly are doing better than us, because we'd probably still be playing at that pizza place if it was open. But obviously them, Cross Canadian Ragweed, I think would be super cool. I've always loved those guys. And honestly, Robert O'Keen would be just a dream come true. Willie Nelson, just
For some reason, I had Robert.
legends.
I thought you were going to say Robert Earl.
Yeah.
I didn't know why, but I thought so.
He's a hero of mine for sure. So I can have Robert O'Keen weeks where I just listen to nothing but him as well. So opening up for him, I think, would be a bucket list item. Absolutely.
Very cool. All right. Well, all right, guys, do your
Yeah, right.
let's make something happen. All right. Well, let's see here. When if this question, I kind of like to see what different people say, and I get I don't know, I got a vibe from you. So let's when if I were to say in 5 years from now you've made it, what's or next year, hell, we'll speed it up. But when I say you've made it, what does that mean to you?
Man, I don't know. It means a lot of different things to me, honestly. I used to think that all I wanted to do was learn to play guitar so I could sit at a friend's house and play some songs I already knew. And then I did that, and I was like, I want more. So then I was like, I'd like to play an open mic. And then I did open mic, and I was like, ooh, that was fun. I want to do more. And then I was like, I want to write my own songs and play my own show. And I did that, and I was like, oh, man, this is really great. I want a band. So then I slowly got a guitar player, then a bass player, and then a drummer, and we started playing shows, and I was like, this is great. So, and even then we were like, playing these local shows and stuff is really fun, but we want more. So then we played our first festival, and that was awesome. And so I think making it for me, honestly, is, I would love to have a bus and drive around and play. But honestly, if we could just play, festivals and stuff where, people that come out that want to hear our kind of music, it would be where they're happy to hear our songs and we get to meet other bands that we love. And I think that camaraderie and fun that would be kind of making it for me. I don't need the money and the fame or anything. I think being in that environment would be fun. And just, every time you go out, it's just going to be a hell of a time. And also, we wouldn't have to bring our own sound.
There's a lot to that. We're playing at a place this weekend there's not a lot of places in West Tennessee that do this. So shout out to Tap in Jackson, Tennessee, for actually having a drum set and a sound system that you don't and provide a sound guy, which sounds like it would be the norm, but it is not the norm. So that makes I don't know, it just makes life a little bit easier for even the cover bands. So shout out to venues that do that.
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to say, as far as those festivals or being in that position that you were talking about, I would imagine that would even put, I don't know, I say it a lot, but it's true, put gas in the tank, personally, to where it would get you, keep motivated to the next step.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bet that's real fun.
Well, I mean, like, as far as you were talking about being in those festivals and everything, and being around those people, every time you reach a goal, I would imagine that makes you want to keep on going.
Yeah, I think it's tough to be satisfied, I guess, because I always think if I just do the next thing, that'll be good enough, and then I do it, and I'm like, ooh, no, it'd be better if we did a little bit more,
With also reassurance, though.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but I get to play music I get to play music that people come listen to. I get paid to do it for some reason, and then you know, people have us back all the time, and we get to play some festivals. We're not a bus band that plays nothing but festivals, but we get to play our fair share for a little band out of Galveston. And so, you know, if I died right now, I'd be pretty happy with what we've done.
So making a living doing something that you like to do. I mean,
Absolutely.
yes,
Yeah.
sir. That's something that a lot of people can't say. Um, let's talk about as far as the music that you already have out on Spotify and everything. That'll lead us to the halftime song. We
Okay.
might go a little bit later. But how far into playing music did you actually put something out there for, the world to judge, to hear all the goods and the bads of it?
We've been playing probably 5 years or so, playing around, and then decided we wanted to do an album, and we didn't know anything about recording an album at all. We went and looked at one studio, and they were in our price range, and it was kind of dumpy, but we were like, we're a dumpy band, it's kind of a cool vibe,
Right.
and it fits our style. And so we went in there and recorded, and we didn't have a producer. We didn't really, I guess, have much, we just went in, recorded, and came out with something. And that was our first album, Mile Marker Zero. And honestly, for what we did, it turned out pretty good, and then we kept that. We didn't record another album for almost 10 years, just because it's expensive to record an album and stuff like that. But when we finally decided to do it, we had another good list of songs, and that album actually did a lot for us, surprisingly. We even had Ray Wiley Hubbard sing on the song with us, that was a pretty cool story. I wrote that song, and I sent it to him, and I was like, look, I know you probably don't do this, but I wrote this song, and there's a second verse where I'm talking about opening up for you, and you talking about your gold top guitar and all this stuff. And we've never opened up for him, but I was like, it's make believe. And I get a phone call one day, and he's like, Brandon, this is Ray. And I was like, holy crap, Ray Wiley Hubbard just called me, and it was pretty awesome. He was down for it. Unfortunately, all that happened during COVID, so we didn't get to be in the studio with him. We had to kind of mail him the track, and then he recorded it in his studio in, I think, New Mexico, and mailed it back and all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, we never got to have some studio time with Ray Wiley Hubbard, but it still was an awesome experience. So that was pretty cool. And then, like I said earlier, the When Your Mind got, oh no, not When Your Mind. One of our songs not coming to my head right now. Got picked up by that Spotify playlist. That was huge, and 43rd and R did pretty well on the radio. And then the Country versus Metal podcast highlighted it, and it got, I don't know, a lot of views on there, more than I could have imagined, and that helped. And then just it's done pretty well around here as well, because lots of people in Galveston know where 43rd and R are, and then just it's kind of got a cool vibe for a song, and so that did pretty well. So that album was pretty good. So we wanted to do an EP, and I always joke that EP stands for not enough money to record a full album. So well, I mean, we had the songs for a full album, but we didn't have the wallet for it. So we put out 5 new songs, and I think they all turned out really good. We had a little bit of radio success with Middle of the Ocean off that album, and the other ones are, they're slowly racking up some streams on Spotify and Apple Music and things like that. So, we're pretty fortunate that it's out there. We're pretty happy with it, and we're excited to have music out there. And honestly, we can't wait to get more out. I know I said I don't like recording, and I don't, but I love having new music out for people to listen to.
Understand. Well, let's take a listen to well, you talked about it earlier, but can you give us a little bit of a rundown on 43rd and R?
Yeah, absolutely. It was our first single off of Across the Causeway, and it made it in I think in the top 50s on the Texas music chart. It wasn't a number 1 hit by any means, but hey, we'll take it. And I wrote about my wife and meeting her, and all this kind of getting together and all that stuff. And then I gave it to her. I played it at our rehearsal dinner at our wedding in Lukenbach, Texas for a gift. And then, she gave me she got a table that I'm sitting at right now from the Dixie Chicken, which is like the coolest present anyone could ever get. So I was like, darn, you still beat me, and I wrote a song, but so that's 43rd and R, and I hope everyone digs it.
Well, to be fair, you enjoy your present.
Right.
A lot of people get to enjoy her present.
Yes,
so.
That's very true.
Well, all right, man. Well, here we go. We'll take a listen.
All right.
I always heard love was an easy thing. Find a girl, get a diamond ring. I wasn't sure that was meant for me, but you came along, you changed everything. But I always thought you were coming real far on a big jetliner or a railroad car. I searched forever to the moon and stars, but there you were, 43rd and R. Yeah, there you were, 43rd and R. And I've been waiting for a long, long time for someone to come that felt so right. Here you are right by my side, and you were so close all this time. But I always thought you were coming real far on a big jetliner or a railroad car. I searched forever to the moon and stars, but there you were, 43rd and R. Yeah, there you were, 43rd and R. And I don't ever want this to change, 'cause I don't think I would be the same. We go walking down by the sea, hand in hand, and you smile at me. The waves, they wash up around our feet, and I'm as happy as I can be. And I always thought you would come from real far on a big jetliner or a railroad car. I searched forever to the moon and stars, but there you were, 43rd and R. Yeah, there you were, 43rd and R. Yeah, there you were, 43rd and R.
All right.
I've never had a
think-
camera watching me while I listened to my own song before. I didn't know what to do. Am I supposed to dance or act like I don't like it? I felt like that Will Ferrell movie is like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
We were talking about Adam Hood before we started, and I recently saw Adam at North Springs Music Festival in East Tennessee, and he and Jason Eady was the headliner, and Adam played the day before, but he hung around for the whole weekend. But he got up there and did a couple songs with different people during their set. So, and some of them he didn't have his guitar. He was just singing, and you could still tell as many times as he's done these gigs and played with all these different people and wrote all these different songs with all these people, he still didn't know what to do with his hands. It made me feel better about myself, you know.
Yeah, right.
Because he's like, I don't know where to put them in my pocket or grab the microphone, or you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I could remember the words to my songs if my hands weren't playing it on guitar either. Like if the music was in the background and like karaoke style and I just had to sing it, I think I would have no idea what to do.
All right, so that kind of leads to a question I like to ask, because I know artists, especially after you get out of the studio, generally you don't listen to your music very often.
Yeah.
Um, so we make we make you sit there and listen. What was going through your head? Are you nitpicking it apart? Are you remembering people that played on it, or the studio, or what was going through your head?
I kind of was thinking about, when we play it live, we play it slightly different. It's a little bit longer when we play it live. It's nothing big. We do the chorus again and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot we don't do the chorus on the album and stuff like that. I actually hear my songs probably more than I used to. I have three little kids, 4 and under, and they like to hear. They call it daddy songs. And so they have this little Tony box thing. I don't know if you have any idea what that is, but it's like a
Mm-mm.
little square, and you put a figure on it. And usually it sings Disney songs, but you can make a custom one. And so I made one. It's like a little guy. When you put it on there, it sings our song. So I actually hear him more than you probably think I would. But
You get sick of your own song.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Here, son, let me let you listen to Chris Knight.
Yeah, I know. I do that a lot, and they love that stuff. But they want me to play guitar almost every night, and that used to be like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and ABC and all these songs and stuff. And now
Mhm.
they're like, play a daddy song, and I was like, okay, but it seems real weird to play this real loud in the living room to three little kids.
Play this heartbreak song.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I told you that things would go off the rails a little bit without Steve, and I kind of messed up his pie question a little bit because I didn't follow up on your answer. I was
Okay.
thinking about that. That I asked you about songwriting, performance, studio, and the business side of it. Um, Songwriting, as far as what is that to you? Are you like a really structured person, or are you just whenever it comes to you, there's a note in the phone, or what,
Yeah.
or is it all over the place?
Uh, it's different because it changes for me for sure. Usually it comes to me, and then or I'll hear if I'm listening to another song, I'll hear like a couple words together, and I'll be like, oh, that can make a cool song. Or I'll see something, and I'll be like, oh, that'd be cool to write about. uh Middle of the Ocean came to me. I worked for the Galveston Beach Patrol down here for a while, and I was like a open beach lifeguard, and I was swimming out there, and then the hook for that song came to me while I was swimming, and the beat of that song is actually the timing
Okay.
my hands slap the water, and I just had to sing to myself over and over and over and over to get back to shore to write it down. But so it's kind of all over the place, but I'll try to sit down sometimes and just try to write a song, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. I've been in a little bit of a drought lately, just trying to get them out, but I've been real happy. So sometimes being totally happy is the kryptonite for good songwriting, I think. So sometimes I got to put myself in a mood, to get something to come out. But yeah, it's kind of all over. Sometimes I'll have the words and I'll go sit down and put the music down. Sometimes I'll think of some guitar, and I'll just sit down and sing words over it and see if anything sticks. And usually something just comes out and it happens. I'd love to say I just think of something and sit down and write a song, but sometimes that happens, and sometimes it takes me forever to get something out.
Do you kind of know when or what songs you're ready to take to the band?
Yeah, I'll write some, and then if I'll play it to myself probably 10 times or so, and if I still like it at the end of that, I'll just record it on my phone and send a text to them, and be like, hey, what do you guys think of this? And I'd like to mention my band. I have a really good band.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're called the Brandon McDermott Band, uh, I never really actually wanted that to be our band name. My very first show ever, my buddy Kevin Anderson, he's a local musician here in Galveston, and he told me if I could get together an hour's worth of music, I could open up for them at the Old Quarter. And so, I'd written about an hour's worth of music, practice, and did it. And no one, knew who I was as far as songwriting or anything, even though in Galveston, it's a kind of a small town feel. But I showed up to the show with I printed 20 shirts or 50 shirts or something that said Brandon McDermott Band Summer World Tour, and it had the open mic I did and that show on the back. So it just had the two dates, and man, everybody took one of those shirts.
I
It was
love
great.
that. That's hilarious.
And so from then it was just like I got a guitar player, and I was like, hey, we can change the name of the band if you want. And that was just kind of a joke. And he was like, no, I don't care. And we got a bass player. He's like, I don't care. And we got a drummer, and he's like, I don't care. So
Bass players never care.
They never care. So we played like that for a while. And when we recorded the first album, I was like, if we're gonna change our name, we gotta do it now, because once we put an album out, we can't change it. And they're like, we don't care. So that's kind of how that happened. Just basically, no one wanted to think of another band, I guess.
Honestly, that's why I didn't really ask that as far as the lineup, just because there's generally there's a lot of turnover with bands, and you never know.
Yeah.
Has it been pretty much the
so there's been
basis
some
of it?
turnover. My original band isn't with me anymore, but the guys that I'm playing with now, we've been playing together for a lot of years. So
Okay.
Brent Topa, he's from Spring, Texas. He plays on drums. Rob Kuntz is he's from Huffman, but we always just make up a town because I can't ever remember where Huffman is. And then Sean Gallagher is our bass player, and he actually he was a member of the 82nd Airborne, 173rd Airborne, and did tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. So he's a real cool guy also. So those are my core guys. Every once in a while we have a fiddle player sit in with us or something else real cool, but those are the guys that are in the band, and we play all the shows together, and we have for many years. So I love that, because I never really wanted it to be like me and some other guys I barely know or whatever. I like the band feel.
Mm-hmm.
I like going out of town with these guys and hanging out with them and doing all that kind of stuff and just kind of broing out a little bit. So I like the way it's put together, and it works pretty well for us.
I mean, it's nice to win over a room, no matter what, but it's a little bit extra special when it's your guys, I would imagine.
Right. Yeah, and we played a show, if someone gets sick or something and we have to pull in a hired gun or something, and those guys are always solid and awesome, but it's just like, it's more fun. I think it's more fun to have the same guys every time. It's like basically we're just friends and have a band together, and it's awesome.
Like playing, like going to play golf or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
Let's see, what was I going to ask? Yeah, I had another follow. Oh, your team. That last slice of the pie. That that most people aren't that thrilled with, but we want to actually point out the realities of being an independent artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you talk about who is your team, and also add another one that let's put a pin in that one.
Okay.
When I'm sorry. When you were I was talking about you taking songs to the band.
Yeah.
Are they a filter for you in some ways, as far as, are they straight with you as far as like, this has got something, or is or
I think
no,
I can usually
not...
tell. They're not like rude or anything about it, but if I send them one and they're like, awesome, let's do it, or if they're like, cool, if I get a cool back, I'm like, I don't know about this one. But if they're just like, yes, love it, let's do it, then I know we got something there for sure.
Okay, all right.
But we all kind of have different styles too. So, if I write something and send it acoustically to them, they may hear it as a finished product a little different than I am. And so when we get together and work it out, and that's kind of our process, we get together, I'll write the melody and the words, and then we'll get together as a band and kind of, polish up, figure it out what the vibe's going to be. And then that's another thing that's sometimes a little frustrating about the studio is when, if we get a producer and we head into the studio, he's got a different idea than how maybe we've even been playing it live for a while. And so we have to change it up a little bit or not. And we go back and forth with them. And it's not an adversarial relationship, because just everybody wants the best thing for the song. But sometimes if someone's critiquing your baby, it's like, you got to just be like, okay, you're right. I understand what you're saying. And I either agree with it or I don't agree with it, and move forward from there. But yeah, I don't usually send them stuff unless I think it's pretty good. So, I don't send them 20 songs a month or something. I'll send them a couple, because by then I know they're probably worth sending them to.
I got you. Yeah, I could imagine that when you find the right producer, or I shouldn't say right, but when it matches, when it feels right. I
Hmm.
imagine that's something you want to hang on to, because
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would think that it's probably just not easy
Yeah,
in a lot of times. Just because they work for one band doesn't mean it's going to work for every band, and also the price, like you said
yeah, absolutely.
earlier. earlier.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, your team. What's your team look like for you guys?
This is a pretty easy one because our team is pretty much just us. I, myself, and Brent, our drummer, do most of our social media stuff.
Okay.
Uh, we come up with the posts and things like that. Uh, all four of us kind of do the booking.
Okay.
We did have Dylan Steen was our promoter most recently for Middle of the Ocean, and then Debbie Green was our radio promoter for 43rd and R. So those guys have been our team, and then the people that work with them, of course. Um, you know, sometimes our wives help us out with things, like what to wear on stage, and some social media stuff as well. So, we've got that, but our team's pretty tight. We don't have the expendable income to hire into a crew yet. We're we're a band that pretty much does everything.
But it is the band is involved in all of that side of it as well.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
not
helpful
just you.
too. And that's what I really love with these guys is, I've played with people before that, they wanted
Show
to
up and
show up
play.
and play, but they
Hmm.
didn't want to put in that other stuff. And these guys are willing to do that, and that just makes us more of a team or a family, really. And uh, I know some bands divvy up the way they get paid a million different ways, but we go family style because we're all putting in work. So whatever we get paid, we're splitting it four ways, and that's just how we've structured our little band family.
Well, honestly, it's probably kept those guys with you
Yeah,
even longer. Because I imagine I have no idea, but I would imagine that's not always the case.
I
You know.
think it's if you're making boohoo's and money in a bus touring around, then that's probably fine because you're getting to do stuff. But if you're a regional band, then there's not a lot of room for ego in that kind of environment, I don't think.
I understand. All right. Well, we'll roll into the rapid fire thing in just a minute. But
Okay.
want to say, make sure if y'all don't follow Brandon on all the socials, we always say, make sure you do. And when they post things, don't just scroll by. Actually, because we try to point out that a lot of the guys in the music world, they don't just love to do social media, so
Right.
it takes a little bit to get that out there, and then it's disheartening when it doesn't do anything. So
Yeah.
like it, comment it, share to your
Every time
friends.
you like it, it's like you're giving us a hug, and we love it.
I mean, yeah, fair point. I mean, like what we talked about earlier, as far as sometimes you need gas in the tank to be
Right.
for motivation to do things, and
And we try to mix it up on ours. We're not just like we have a show this night. We have a show this night. We like funny stuff. We write songs, and I think I write the best jokes also ever. So
okay.
I write jokes. Sometimes we tell them on stage, and uh, my band gets real sick of hearing me write jokes. I wake up in the middle of the night and I ask my wife, I'm like, hey, listen to this. Is this funny? And she always goes, and if she goes, then I know it's good. So they're like dad
Understand.
joke style.
Understand. Oh, definitely. If I make the kids roll their eyes, and that means I'm doing something good.
Absolutely.
And a little story. They were doing all the baking and everything for tomorrow, and they kick it in the sticks by oh goodness, I just had his name what is his name? Anyway, I always it was a big hit, and when they were little, I would told them that he's saying chicken on a stick, and this that was like 12 years ago, and my daughter actually like remembered me,
Oh, that's awesome.
and also Parachute by Chris Stapleton. I always told him it was pair of shoes. Um, I will wear your pair of shoes. And she said that there's a couple more that she actually remembers the dad
That's
jokes. So
awesome.
I know I was like, that's a win for me right there.
I always thought Bad Moon Horizon was there's a bathroom on the right. I
Yeah,
always heard that
that
wrong.
that's all right. There, yeah, there's a bunch of those. All right. Yeah, and wherever you listen to your music, Apple, Spotify, wherever, make sure you hit that follow button on there too, so that it helps all the. So whenever there's new music on the way, you'll know about it when it's posted. Also, it helps build the resume for a lot of these guys trying to get gigs and stuff. All the
It
numbers
really
matter.
helps
So.
with gigs. The more Spotify and Apple Music streams and followers you have, clubs look at that like crazy. So if you could do it, we'd appreciate it.
Mhm. All right, rapid fire stuff. If you could have a podcast, a music podcast, who would be somebody you would want to interview?
Well, I think I've kind of probably tipped my hand on this, but definitely Robert O'Keen would be up there for sure. I think he's just interesting. You know, he's an amazing songwriter. His band can play bluegrass, country, you know, anything. Those guys, they're very talented. Rich Brotherton, his guitar player, is just fascinating and also very friendly. Uh, and you know, probably him. I think Randy Rogers would be fun to talk to. We were kind of in college at the same time. He even hung out in my backyard one time at a party, and he was at Texas State and I was at Texas A&M, and we had a mutual friend. So somehow he ended up at my house, but he wasn't famous yet or anything. But he asked, he was talking to one of my best friends, and he was like, "Oh, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I'm trying to make it as a musician." And my friend was like, "I wouldn't do that, buddy. There's no chances, you know." And so that's kind of his claim to fame. Is he's like, "I tried to talk Randy Rogers out of playing music."
um, a little bit of a funny story as far as that Robert O'Keen guest thing. I was asking I forget what company that he's with, but I was going after a certain artist to get him to be a guest on the pod, and I got an email back. Hey, uh, Robert O'Keen's got a holiday tour going on. I think it was last year. It may have been 2 years ago. I can't remember. Would you like to have Robert O'Keen on to promote it? And I'm like, well, hell yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And we could give you like 20 minutes. I'm like,
Right.
whatever, 2.5 minutes is cool,
Yeah.
whatever. And that was then about 15 minutes later, I got an email back. Sorry, his schedule was a conflict. I'm like, oh, he's like, I didn't
Oh
even ask
man,
for him and I
it's
got
better if you
rejected.
didn't even know about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I think that would have been awesome. I'd love to talk to Guy Clark and John Prine too. I know they're not with us anymore, but I feel like those guys. I love their songwriting. Their stories would probably just go on forever.
no doubt about it. No, yeah, you would imagine so with the kind of songs and
Yeah.
story songs that they do have. All right. You can have dinner with any historical figure, uh, music, music alive, dead, your call. And what are you having?
Oh man. Uh,
Seems like brisket is probably going to be the answer.
well, brisket would be good, but I'd probably. I feel like you can have a lot of good conversations over brisket and a beer. Probably sit outside in the shade and just have a nice time. It's not so stuffy as sitting in a restaurant and eating a crab cake or something, which I love, by the way. It's my favorite kind of cake. Uh, man, uh, anybody musician wise.
Or no, it doesn't have to be musician.
Oh,
Anyone,
anyone?
anybody.
So it's a tough
That
one.
doesn't make it any better. But
This is a tough rapid fire. Man, I'd probably, if I stick to just music stuff, I think it'd be really fun to talk to Willie Nelson also, or Waylon Jennings, one of those guys. Just the chaos that those guys have went through and pulled it out and still rocking. I mean, obviously not Waylon Jennings, but just that kind. I feel like that old outlaw. Just to hear how that was like, and how they kind of started it, got it rolling, made it popular, and then played it through. I think that would be fun to hear about.
no doubt about it. All right, bucket list venue that you might not have had the chance to play in Texas.
Oh,
And
that's
then
easy.
outside of Texas, another one.
Green Hall in Texas for sure.
Okay.
That's probably number one. Also, Lukenbach. I got married there, but I haven't played there, so that would be awesome. And Red Rock would be really fun outside of Texas. I think that's probably everybody's answer, but that place
It,
is
it
so cool.
it's definitely one of the most popular answers. That and the Ryman. So,
Yeah, is
um,
the Ryman? I know it's. Is it the Grand Ole Opera where you don't get to play with your actual band, or is it the Ryman? Ryman, you get to play with your whole band, right?
the Ryman is pretty much just a venue.
Okay, yeah,
And the Grand Ole Opry, I don't know what the situation is with that, to be honest, because there are some bands that play their full bands,
yeah,
but then yeah, I don't really know how that works. And I know that there's been artists that will bring like their guitar player with them, but not their whole band. So
right,
I don't really know. I'm not
yeah.
sure how
Huh.
that goes. Um, all right. Well, this is the most important question of the night.
Okay.
This started as a joke on episode 1, and it is still rolling. All right, Brandon, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Ooh, I think Nutter Butter. Or man, I go back and forth between Nutter Butter and the brownie, but I think Nutter Butter for sure.
I got you. All right, all right. Is that you got to like break them apart and eat them one by one, or is it
Oh yeah, I
you like?
break them apart and I take the very top layer off, and I
Okay.
eat that first, and then I eat the rest all together. I
That's
don't like
great.
it when I don't like eating the top part alone. I think that part's gross, but I like the way it tastes better without the top part. I'm not just gonna throw the top part away. So
Right, right, right. No, okay, I
I
got
guess if
you.
I ever got real famous and had one of those cool riders, I would say I wanted topless Little Debbie Nutter Butters.
Fair enough. It is odd how we all have their like ways about us,
Right.
the little things. Well, all right. Like I said earlier, make sure you follow on all the socials, engage in the posts, tell them hey that you heard them on here. Uh, Follow on all the wherever you stream your music, and yeah, man, it was good to hang out and talk for a bit.
Absolutely, man. I really, really appreciate you having me on and spending some time with me. I know it's close to Thanksgiving and you got lots of people you could talk to. So the fact that you talked to me is really cool
Oh
and I
man.
appreciate it.
Now, like I said earlier, but I really I dig the sound. It's hard to, I'm not a big. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just know what I hear.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm not a cowboy.
right.
I'm in West Tennessee.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sound of a lot of the stuff that you got out there, I really dig that. So I think
Cool.
everybody else should go give you a listen, and maybe they'll know what I'm talking about then.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, man. We'll see you.
Thank you. Bye, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Good job, man.